Aloha and good morning. Thank you so much for watching Lucy's Paradise podcast. Today I have handsome Harold.
Hello again.
Yeah. He's has the record right now for being on the podcast the most. So
3 times.
yeah, whoever wants to try and beat his record, good luck. The first thing I just wanted to talk about real quick before we get into some topics with Harold is my cousin Desiree came out with a book. It is really awesome. 5 Steps to Overcoming Your Self-Limiting Beliefs. It's from her Born Unbreakable. It's called Born Unbreakable. And she also has a podcast that's called Born Unbreakable. So if you guys need help with any self-limiting beliefs and you want to accomplish more in life, my cousin is a life coach. She's very intelligent. And I encourage you to check out her podcast and check out her book. So good job, Desiree, and look forward to having you on the podcast when you come back home. And yeah, Harold, what's up?
Not much. Congratulations on your win against Carolina the other day. Yeah. I'm rocking my Raider colors. I'm very disappointed.
You're a Raider fan.
Yeah, I'm a Raider. I've been a disgruntled Raider fan for 22 years. Yeah, we lost to the Chargers this Sunday. It was great. It's great. We missed Derek Carr, very much so. So congrats on that. I'm not salty at all whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, I love football. I was like, yeah, we won. Now I can wear it all proudly. So hopefully that sets the tone for how they're going to do, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think we play you guys at the end of the season. Right?
I think so, yeah.
Man, I'm working on a bit right now where I describe how all people from Hawaii get their teams. Because we don't have our own professional football team. So it's like, oh, you were in like a Cincinnati Bengals jersey? I'm like, yeah, you from Cincinnati? No, my dad was a fan. Like, oh, is he from Cincinnati? No, he just really likes cats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just really like pirates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's true, though. Like, we don't have, like, a professional team here. So I think the closest one is 49ers. And, like, a lot of my family are 49er fans.
Yeah, it was really popular in the 90s. I think what it was, like, you had Miami in the 90s, and then Polamalu represented Pittsburgh, so you saw a bunch of, like, people wearing Pittsburgh colors. But I don't know, just getting into fights and getting in prison is really attractive for people who like the Raiders. So, woo!
The first football game I actually ever went to in person was a Raiders game.
Yeah.
My friend called me up one day when I was living in California, and she was like, hey, you want to come with me to this Raiders game tonight? And I was like, that's not even my team. And she's like, I got these dope seats from this fucking guy that I'm seeing. And like, you better fucking come. Yeah. It was when they were in Oakland.
Yeah.
And it was them against like the Jaguars or some shit. But where we were sitting, I was sitting next to like the family of the other team. So it was like, we had the best time ever. And Raiders fans are die hard, man.
Yeah, the Black Hole. Did you see Darth Vader?
No.
Or the Gorilla, or man, they go hard. Darth Vader's just Darth Vader as a Raider.
Well, rest in peace to the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah, James Earl Jones.
Yeah, he just passed away.
I heard that he was Ranger qualified. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
That's why I knew he was in the Army, but I wanted
to look that up actually, and I forgot to even look that up. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, so love fucking Star Wars.
I heard that he was an infantry officer, and he was Ranger qualified, so he went to Ranger school.
Oh, interesting.
Some guys were debating whether he finished or not. But either way, he went to Ranger school. So they say, dude, the Army's like missing out. They should have all these like promotional videos. Like, I have you now. Join the Army.
Yeah, seriously. You know what's funny? I found out that he got paid $7,000 to be the voice of Darth Vader.
Just the voice, yeah. Yeah, I don't think he was even in the credits in the first movie.
The first 2, he's not. Yeah,
because they had this tall, I forgot the guy's name, tall, lanky Scottish dude, and his voice like, "Where are those rebel plans?" And they're like, "This is not the voice for Vader. Let's get somebody else."
That's so
to do
funny.
It. It's pretty wild. If you ever look at the original footage of it, it just makes Darth Vader look like just a total d-bag.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
we're like, no, we need him to be more alpha.
Yeah.
Not beta. Yeah, they did good with the voice, the deep voice, that thought. I think that was a good choice.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of the Army, I am completely out.
How do you feel about that?
I feel, we're moving forward, right? So, last time we talked, 17 years in, and then I got removed for doing stand-up comedy in uniform. Yeah. So anyone who's in the service, take me as an example. Do not do stand-up comedy in uniform. Respect the uniform and maintain your professionality at all times, right? And that was half of the reason why I got kicked out, right? So the second reason we were keeping close to the chest because it's a developing story. So I'm not going to use any names specifically, but so the second reason I was kicked out was myself and a couple other individuals were thrown under the bus. And one individual basically said that we were covering up a number of sexual assaults. One, because my soldier was a supervisor. The facts are that my soldier did actually assault some people, but myself and a couple of other individuals, we weren't privy to that information until months later when he was arrested.
Right.
So,
which is normal, because normally when there's any type of investigation like that, they highly advise everybody to not even discuss it privately.
That's
so
good to know, because I was not given any information of that whatsoever. And so
it's very frowned upon, like, especially if it's something that's an open investigation that hasn't, usually what happens is there's about a 30-day span. It could be more than 30 days. It could be like 30 to 60 or 90. But ideally, like, something simple is usually about a 30-day minimum. And within those 30 days, they don't like people to discuss it specifically, openly.
Okay,
so,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
and if they find out that you were discussing something that was an open investigation, that could now get you in trouble, right?
So, yeah, fast forward like a couple months after that, and I found out my soldier did get arrested, and then they hit me with another investigation saying you and two other members were sweeping it under the rug. Now, I was never privy to any of this information whatsoever. And so by that point, I'd already received my reprimand for the song. I didn't even try to appeal. The second was like, look, if you're going to give me this administrative punishment for singing Tenacious D, I'm not even going to fight this. I was already fighting it for like half a year at that point. I was tired.
That's sad to me, because that's how they get you.
Yeah. Just throwing as much stuff on the wall, see what sticks. And the crazy thing was that when they assigned my separation board date, I actually got a lawyer this time. I got a lawyer, and we just did some digging, and we find out that the one person to point all these fingers, we find out that his record shows that he was kicked out. They were kicked out of another organization, removed completely, and then somehow reinstated into our unit. And his case was that he got soldiers drunk and was accused of sexually harassing them.
Okay.
From a position of authority. And I was like, okay, weird. So this guy's projecting, whatever. I present the one, I have his paper trail. I present it to the the government, the board, and they go, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You can't slander another officer if they're not here. I'm like, that's fine. I get that. And
but then he's doing the same thing to you?
Well,
mentioning you?
The point of the board was to discuss my separation for the receipt of 2 administrative punishments that were substantiated. So they're saying, based on a technicality, because the administrative punishments were substantiated, it doesn't matter if you bring up this evidence before during the investigative process, because it's irrelevant. You received those administrative punishments. You're on the board.
Because you didn't fight it.
Yeah.
So you should have fought it in the first place.
And that's what they're saying. So, like, either way, they were like, no, you're getting separated for this. Doesn't matter what this person's saying. So I go, that's fine. However, if we're kicking me out for failure to report, I feel like it should be a standard where you might want to look into this. If this guy is a sexual predator and he's still running around, are you going to look into it? And they go, you should be ashamed for trying to, like, throw this guy under the bus. I'm like, okay, cool. I should be ashamed. You got it. And unfortunately,
I'm ashamed. Are you ashamed that he is still representation of your organization?
I'm trying to learn. Like, look, if this is the punishment, like, I'm learning here. Should we not report this? So either way, I get my separation orders August 21st. Unfortunately, a month before that, I learned that this person who was put into another leadership position did the same thing. They got them drunk. And then on top of that, now there's possibly a case where he might have done the same stuff, where he got someone drunk.
That particular
the same dude. What? So, and here's the thing.
Now there's an open investigation.
Yeah, I don't know if it's open or not. All right,
Okay.
I just heard through the grapevine. I didn't talk. Yeah, either way, like, this is all rumors that I've heard.
Okay.
Some people came to my show and go, "Yep, we know exactly what you're talking about." Pretty wild. And they said the same thing. We tried to warn the command about this, and it just fell on deaf ears. And I get it. People are scared, and they teach you that in the sharp training. Is like, hey, they try to say, like, look, if you're afraid, there are preventive measures to stop from retaliation. But despite that, a lot of people are afraid to do so. Specifically, the victim. The victim, as far as I know, I don't think the victim wants to talk about it, which is unfortunate, and I hope it doesn't happen again. But the only way we're gonna prevent this stuff is, like, holding them accountable.
Right.
Fortunately for me, I had the paper trail, so they wanted to sweep it under the rug. I presented the articles, but I have the paper trail. I got email traffic. I go, hey, this guy's weird. You might want to look into this.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm just sitting patiently. I'm out now, so obviously you can tell because I got this shitty 5 o'clock shadow and this shitbag haircut. But I just really flamboyant jacket, son.
Yeah.
But hopefully, my tale with the Army is done. That chapter's closed. That book is closed. But hopefully we can bring this into light and then protect actual soldiers.
Yeah.
So
we should bring it to light. Yeah, I mean, I could go on for days about false sexual harassment reporting and stuff like that. I actually was able to brief like our sergeant major and all of like the first sergeants and stuff. And I was basically working with the SHARP program to like, you know, they have these focus groups and they want to like how do we develop this better and things like that. And I briefed all of them and I basically said, you know, there needs to be a stricter punishment for not only obviously people that commit these crimes that are proven, right? Or like whether you assault or harass somebody, but also people that falsely report it. Because I feel like that is also continues to discredit
100%.
the legitimate work that they're trying to do on these cases that are real. And then when you have all of these cases that aren't real, just because everybody wants to like, I don't know, get mad at their boyfriend or whatever the scenario is. I'm not speaking on a specific scenario. I'm just saying it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I had a friend that was accused of something and he was really stressed out about it. And I was like, well, so like, what's the story? You know, tell me about it. And he said, yeah, she said on this particular day and and I was like, wait a second. Are you talking about like this particular day? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, dude, we were playing basketball that day all day. I was like, so there you go. You have basically have an alibi. Like clearly this is a made up story.
It's
you know?
It's rough, like specifically on like the anecdotal experiences, right? And I think Big Army is moving in the right direction in that when there is an investigation, it's no longer internal, right? So now ideally what we want to do is have someone externally. So if you have one unit that does it, okay, you're not going to send like a captain from like the S2 shop like, hey, I know Bill, yeah, no, he's good. Whereas they'll get like someone else externally like CID or like FBI or whatever agency comes in from outside of the unit to do so, you know, to squash that, what is it, the good old boy group club kind of thing. Yeah. Other than that, moving on with the Army. For the record, I'm not suicidal, so if I end up dead in the next month or so, that's like an Epstein thing.
Yeah.
Start my ignition, my car blows up. Like, all right.
Like,
he's got evidence. Yeah.
Disclosure. That's funny.
He slipped in his bathtub and hung himself.
My mom and I just had like this conversation. She was like, why are you telling me this? I'm like, Mom, just because. Like me and my mom are just like, we're a little paranoid about the world. But I was like, just in case. You know?
Just in case.
But she was laughing. She thought it was funny. But yeah, no, acknowledged. Don't worry. If anything happens, I'm going to be like, no, we must fight. See, the thing I want to just tell, and I do want this to go out for people because, you know, we just talked about what he was going through and, you know, sometimes you are at a place and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to fight this. But, you know, my mom always told me you either stand up for something or you fall for everything. And I am the type where like, I will not let somebody fuck with me. I can't. I just cannot, man. Like so many years and different experiences of people being able to fuck with me that I just cannot do it anymore, you know? And in the most spiritual and like positive way possible. Like I don't want any of that, you know what I mean? But sometimes I'm put in a situation and I'm like, oh fuck no. When I first joined the military, this is going to be in my book, so I don't like to talk about it too much because those details will be in the book that I'm writing. But I will tell you this part of it. When I first joined the military, okay, now you have to look at it from the perspective of I have a brother that's a retired lieutenant colonel. I have uncles that are retired lieutenant colonels, uncles that are like sergeant majors. I knew what I was getting into, and I knew the values that I would, you know, uphold if I joined the military. I got placed into a sexual assault investigation, and I was stuck at what's it called when you go get all your shots? What is that? MEPS. I was stuck at MEPS or whatever for 30 days. So this means that I joined the military. I had a class that I was supposed to start, right? You have a start date, you have an end date. Now, mind you, my dad was in the hospital at this time. So my only goal was to get stationed somewhere so I could go home and visit my father who was dying, okay? I got placed into a false sexual assault investigation that I didn't even talk to the girl who made the claim. I didn't even know who she was. Didn't even talk to her. Apparently, it sounds like she decided to take all of the people she thought were gay and report them for whatever, made up this story. It was me and like 13 other girls too that got held back. And I was stuck for 30 days and all I could do was write my family. And I was like so stressing out. I went into that room with the officer and I sat down and I said, look, I'm not going to have my intelligence mocked. I was like, my brother is literally just retired as a lieutenant colonel. Don't mock my intelligence by telling me that I'm dumb enough to join the military and do some stupid shit at MEPS. Like, it's not like, no, dude, come on. And I had like some of the girls that knew me, because I literally had these Jack Reacher books and I was reading them like the first 2 days that we were there. So I was like, actually, I have like proof from other people of like what I was doing those days too. So thank God and thank you to those females that wrote the positive statements, you know, for me and that were honest, because obviously nothing happened to almost all of us. And then they picked out like little things that some of the other girls maybe discussed or whatever did. And, you know, maybe they got a couple of people in trouble. But it's annoying because it's like you just put a magnifying glass on all these people. And I couldn't even start with my class. I had to wait a whole nother cycle. Dude, I was pissed. I was fucking pissed.
You were stuck at MEPS for 30 days?
30 days. And we couldn't do anything. So we were like running around the barracks trying to work out. Like, and then, of course, they would get mad at us doing that. But we're like, dude, we have nothing to do besides clean. Like, we're getting driven crazy in here. It's almost worse than prison.
So going back to like your resilience, like what was the biggest part that helped you get through that process?
Well, the girls. The girls, because we all knew that nothing happened. I mean, we even convened with each other and we're like, look, someone like tell us fucking now, like what the fuck's going on? And all of us were like, dude, we literally don't know. Like, and then we were like, wait a second. And then we realized she pretty much named all the girls that like were kind of like openly gay. And I was like, wait, is this like a gay thing? This has nothing to do with doing anything to you, because nobody did anything to her. That's the thing. So fast forward, one of the friends that I was stuck with ends up getting stationed with her and ends up being her superior.
Oh, but there's repercussions for those allegations, or?
No, nothing happened to that girl. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Nothing happened to the girl who made the false report. Right. She ended up like getting kicked out or something like that. I don't know all the story. And she also apologized to all of us. Bro, I was like, you know what? I accept your apology, but don't ever fucking look at me. Like, just leave me the fuck alone.
That's
bro.
where you keep all the documents. Like, hey, we had all these investigations, and she made an apology. So that person ends up in like the Senate or something. Like, hey, this shitbag over here, a little wishy-washy, right? It
was just so frustrating. You know, you have to reach some level of forgiveness because, you know, but it sucked. Thank God, you know. I was able to come home after that and stuff. My dad ended up passing away shortly after getting stationed here. So, I mean, but that was like stressful and devastating to me. Like, what if my dad passed away and I'm stuck? Like, I'm going to rage. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was a difficult time. But I think the support of the girls there, the support of a lot of like people that I wrote a lot of people. Like, we ran out of toilet paper one time and I wrote one of my Apple moms I used to work with, and she sent us a whole big thing of toilet paper. People were like, what the hell? So I was like the one in prison that I had everything, you know? I'm like, yo, who needs some TP, bro?
You want a haircut? Give me 2 cigarettes.
Yo, pay for my movie this weekend. Yeah. Like, dude, people were paying for my shit because I was like, I was just getting shit sent to me.
Oh, you're a mama? You're just like, yep.
Yeah, dude, I was running that prison, bro.
Yeah. Man. Well, yeah, that's really important for resilience, right? Like, even like with my case, talking to people. It sounds really rudimentary. That's our word of the day, rudimentary. It sounds really basic just to say talk to people, but like that was the biggest thing that got me out of the hole, right? There's like, I think like 20 other people going through a similar situation as me as well, where we had our careers ruined. We either got med boarded, we either got forced retired, we either got separated, or in my case, 3 years shy of a pension and 2 months shy of a severance package, right? And
that's
you know,
so sad.
There's a lot of people that don't want to talk because they see all the dominoes fall. They go, oh my gosh, they're getting everybody, right? So those who were lucrative enough to get a lawyer, they were cleared. Those who didn't, they just stayed quiet. And to this day, they just, you know, they.
Well, to be honest, that's why I got out of the military, because I was seeing this trend happening, and I was getting worried because if that already happened to me, I wasn't even at my duty station yet. Then I ended up being in I basically made a EO report and I won that. After that, it was really hard for me to continue to do the 6 years, but I was like, I need to finish out this contract. I had another incident. I don't even know exactly what happened. It was all really just rumors. And what was anyway, I don't really want to get into that one, but I was like, you know what? It's just too obvious. Like I feel like people are gonna come after me. I was like, maybe I was being a little paranoid, but I was like, I can't be a openly gay person in the military. Yeah. Like I can't, the way that I look and the way that I am, like I'm just trying to be a leader. I'm not trying to date any of my soldiers or nothing. And I can't even fucking be in this environment. I'm like, this is crazy to me. It would be one thing if I was like dating soldiers and shit. Like, okay, I could see that. But I'm like, bro, I was married at one point. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, this is getting scary. I need to get out because I don't want my benefits taken away.
Yeah, that's one of the shittier things, like with the Army.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm getting out.
They always say the thing like, oh, perception is everything, right? They go, perception's everything. And for me, I'm like, fucking facts, right? If you can't prove that you're sexually assaulting everyone, like just fucking stop, right? Where are the fucking facts? So I understand the concept. Yeah, perception's everything. Yeah, don't put yourself in the light where people will second guess it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, like you said, you're married. You don't have a track record of doing those things. So I think it's ridiculous that, that was the one thing that crushed. Well, not one thing, but one of the many things that crushed your aspiration staying in the military. Even for
I literally thought I was going to do 20 years, and the military convinced me that this was not a safe environment for me to be in.
What year did you enlist?
What year? 2017.
When did Don't Ask, Don't Tell get removed?
Oh, way before that.
Okay, but still, the stigma still
that.
Lingered on well after that and all that. So,
and this is the thing. Like everybody has a different experience, and I acknowledge and understand that. And I'm sure there's plenty of gay females in the military that are having a fucking ball right now, right? But the thing that you have to understand is they also don't look like me. You know what I mean? So I feel like, and it's just my experience, like people have, made some sort of prejudgment about me my whole life, you know what I mean, before they get to know me. And I think that's a lot of the times, that's kind of normal. Like sometimes that happens and that it is what it is. But with how toxic the military is, like, I was just like, this is a dangerous environment. I was like, I need to get out, put my head down, get out, and just make sure that no one can fuck with me and take my benefits away. And that's what I was afraid of. Yeah. I don't want someone to take my pension or what. I mean, obviously I didn't stay in that long, but I'm just saying, I foresaw that I don't think I would have lasted much longer anyway.
Well, I think it's important that you're able to like acknowledge when is the right time to get out. Cause like, honestly for me, like my up to the 15-point year of my career, I was having a fucking blast. Like, I fucking love the Army. Yeah. But they need that at the dotted line when you sign your soul away. Experiences may vary, right? So, yeah, choose your own destiny kind of thing. Especially like when you get to like when you start getting evaluated as an NCO or as an officer, once you go high enough, it's politics. And I think every officer who's a captain or staff sergeant know like eventually you're gonna have to play the political game, and you will be a cutthroat to get that top block for your evaluation report at the end of the year, which, for me, I did 7 years as enlisted, and I was like, cool, I could like get out as a captain. I get out as a major, so where I don't have to play the cutthroat thing. But you'll see it. The other captains will be like buddy. Like, yeah, man, let's hang out, bro. And then they'll learn about your patterns, learn about your life, and then throw you under the bus. Like, oh yeah, he's a comedian, he's unprofessional. When the whole time they're at your shows and shit, like, oh, okay, that's cool.
It got to the point where like, I almost didn't want to even get to know people. And that's very unlike me. Yeah. And if I'm placed into an environment where I can't be myself, it already is going to be negative on my mental health. My mental health was my decision to get out. All the other stuff was just, possibilities like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't want something to happen, blah, blah, blah. But once it started adding up like that, I was like, I got to get out. This is not good for my mental health. That's just
so many like back-to-back series of unfortunate events that swacked it for you, man. I'm super blessed that my military career was like fucking super fun. I had a lot of fun. I was a fucking humanitarian assistant, civil affairs. So we just went all over Asia and like, built schools through Beanie Babies as kids. And then I was like, all right, let's go officer route. And then we went infantry, and then we just blew shit up and then shot shit, and then hanging out with your dick in the dirt with your boys, and then then you get to staff, and it gets boring. But then you get to plan everything, which is also fun, and see all that come to life. And then I did one stand-up routine, and here I am now. Yeah. So, again, 17 years gone like that. Take away, fucking follow the rules. Talk to people, fucking be resilient, just push through it. But, yeah.
Well, I think that's what people have to understand when they're like, when they talk shit about people in the military, you know, it's like, I can't take advice from somebody who has 0 days in.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't sign up for 1 day of this. Like, so don't give me advice. You know what I mean?
I mean, if like a doctor, that helps. You know, my psychologist, I had 3 behavioral health assessors, a psychologist, psychiatrist, and a substance abuse counselor, and none of them had military experience. But fortunately, they were able to use their professional expertise to guide me the right way. But I agree. Some dude's like, yeah, I would have joined, but, you know, fucking, I'd punch the drill sergeant in the face. Okay, I'm not gonna fucking listen to you, dude. We're good. But
yeah, it's a different beast. I think as soon as you realize your life is in the government's hands, you're like, oh my god, it's different.
You gotta play the game.
It's different. You gotta play the game.
Yeah.
And somebody like me, I knew, you know, it's really hard to be in the military as a free thinker as it is. So I don't. It's really just not designed for free thinkers. It's really designed for people that are gonna, you know, just drink all the Kool-Aid and follow everybody around.
It definitely helps. It definitely helps.
Yeah.
We had that
Which is
debate last
fine.
summer here, like, okay, what makes a good officer, NCOs? Are you being innovative and all this stuff? Well,
Yeah, but they want it. They act like they want innovation, but as soon as you have people that are at that peak, you know what I mean? There are not people that are gonna be the same type of people that follow all of the rules the same way.
If you innovate your way into the club, then you're golden.
Yeah.
I was not in the club, so obviously, you know, I got schwacked, but it's fine.
I know you didn't kiss enough asses.
Not enough rings. Yeah, that's all right. No worries. So
That does suck though, being so close like that. Like that would have pissed me off. Dude.
I see it as, you know, the silver
I would have
lining.
fought, you know.
Yeah, well, I did. I fought for 2 years, man. Like going back to resilience, you know. But either way, yeah, talking to people is the most important part, right? And, you know, you don't want to crab bucket yourself with your own emotions and your inability to reflect. And so finally finding enough people to go, hey, you're good. Look, you're not going to be a captain anymore. We get you're a comedian. You can put all that to the side. You are just one person fighting against a tide, just hitting you over and over and over and over again. And so it just took me a little bit and that extra push from someone else's perspective to say, hey, we need you still alive. Because 2 things. 1, you can't do anything if you're dead. And 2, more importantly, your son is more important than you at this point, right? You made the decision to have a son. It's your responsibility, your moral responsibility to take care of him. I'm like, that's very true. Yeah, that'd be very selfish. I had a very selfish thought when I had an attempt last year, right? It was the week I had my separation board, and they said, all right, you're going to be separated with a general discharge. And I made a very foolish attempt where I said, fuck it. I drank half a bottle of Jack. And you know me, I love my guns. I had a single revolver. And I put one in the chamber. I spun the dial. And I said, all right, my body is worth $500,000. If it goes bang, that money goes straight to my son. He'll have the leg up. Fine, easy. And I said, if it doesn't and it goes click, stop feeling fucking sorry for yourself. Give your guns away to someone that you trust. Lock your shit up. Check yourself into behavioral health, and then stop being a fucking pussy, and then just move forward with that, right? Obviously, we went click because fucking I'm here. And yeah, the next morning I woke up just completely covered in sweat, gross with myself that I even made that decision. I said, nope, okay, you remember what you said. That's it. I fucking separated my ammo, took out the bolts of my weapon systems, locked them up, gave the keys to a buddy, and said, hey, I am not responsible enough to fucking be here with these, okay? So take this. He goes, cool, got it. Too easy. Week later, I would check in for behavioral health on top of getting everything else assessed, and they go, okay, cool, this is the step. And then from there, they're able to dissect, hey, man, you don't need to carry fucking everything. You don't need to do all the stuff. You made a stupid decision. Let's be very clear. You made a very stupid decision, but the fact that you're acknowledging it and you're here is the only way we can get you to fucking get out of that hole. And so fortunately, I'm here today. I would think relatively composed and with a stronger mentality than I was over a year ago, right? So yeah, just being able to talk about it, talk with someone is super important. Even if it's just calling someone, right? And you know, we've taken the ACE training, the Ask Care Escort training, and it's so hard to pinpoint when someone might be over the edge, right? It could, you know, there's a wide spectrum, right? It could be like, oh, the person's super jovial, he's giving away all of his shit, or you know, Harry is just being really quiet. We don't know. You got to go with the baseline and kind of figure it out. But the only way you know is if you ask, right? Yeah. It's really awkward to do. It's really fucking awkward to do. But if you really care about your buddies, you know, and something just seems off from their baseline, they go, hey man, you doing all right? Cool. Let's grab a drink, or not grab a drink. Let's go out, grab some coffee.
Just go,
let's talk, right? So
Go get some coffee. Go to the karaoke bar.
And you've been really helpful in all this, you know, like
I'm
you've been
glad I could
supportive
be.
for like the past like half year through all this, and it just helps to have that extension, right?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. That's not an easy thing to kind of relive. I feel like when I tell stories like that, you're like also kind of reliving it in that, you know. And it was funny because this morning when I was getting ready for the podcast, I was like, okay, I was like thinking of like, I don't know, all these different thoughts about like how, because I've known you for a really long time. And one of the memories I'll never forget is being at the Mililani graduation and you were like on stage performing.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, what year was that?
That was 2007.
Dang. I was like, I've known Harold a freaking long ass time. You know, so I was thinking about that particular thing. I can almost like see you like on stage, like, oh yeah, that's Harold, just in the middle of Aloha Stadium, like it's no big deal. Because I was like, dang, Harold was like a celebrity back then in my mind. You know what I mean? Man. Like not like, you know, not like I don't know, like local celebrity or whatever. Just like there was just something different about certain people that we went to school with. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you're here.
I'm super glad I'm here.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're prioritizing your son, and it's not easy, dude. Life's hard.
Yeah.
You know? Life's fucking hard, man.
And, you know, at the end of the day, that's what I told myself. Like, look, like, I know you're religious, right?
Yeah.
I used to be religious. I think I grew up Catholic, and for me, you know, eventually I strayed from the church. But one of the things I love about religion, be it Christianity, Judaism, Islam, is that a lot of them just revolve around the idea that there is hope. And you get that through faith, right? And that gives you comfort. And for me, I think one of the most humbling thoughts is that, you know, I believe that the universe is fucking old, right? And the universe is really big. And then just given how big it is and how old the universe is, just the fact that we have the miracle that we live in this time where we can be on the internet and like have music and then talk about the saints. That miracle itself is like, that's really fucking cool. That's your one shot, unless you're Buddhist and you believe in reincarnation. That's your one shot, right? And if that's your shot, and especially because we're born in America, I fucking love this country. Thank God I was born in this time, in this country where I can, you know, you can speak ill of the president, you can join the military, you can fight for your country, you can be fucking gay, you know, you can wear this weird
I've thought
Yakuza
about, I'm like,
jacket.
dang, man, like what would have happened if I was born in a different time?
Exactly.
I probably would have been one of those females that like pretended to be a guy and joined the
like Mulan, straight up Mulan.
Yeah, dude, I would have been Mulan for sure.
And the fact that we live in this moment in time, that's what makes me go, okay, cool. You gotta stay alive, dude. That's it. Like, this is your one shot. And assuming if we go back to my Catholic roots, if hell fucking exists, yeah, okay, that's gonna fucking suck if I end it right now. But yeah, and it's the same not only with myself.
Well, if
but
you
like,
think about it this way, and I really like this quote: "You've survived 100% of your bad days."
Yeah.
You know, and you will keep surviving them.
Still here, son.
And and I think. Yeah, I couldn't ever do it. I couldn't ever like hurt myself like that. Obviously, because I believe in God. And I also just like I have nephews and nieces.
Right. Yeah.
And I think about like the impact, you know.
See, I was selfish in that where I wasn't thinking in my drunken stupor. Now, understand this. This does not make any sense. When I get drunk, I call it drunk logic, where I go, oh, that fucking makes sense. Pull the trigger, yeah.
There's no logic at all, because your house would be on fire, and you'd be like, yeah, if you're drunk. Like, let's be real.
Stupid moment, I thought, okay, $500,000 is definitely worth giving my son the leg up versus everybody else. I was thinking, oh, the economy, we don't know where it's gonna be. It could be a down payment on a house, but he's not gonna have a dad, all right? Even if he did get like a down payment for a house, he'd just have he wouldn't have that male parental figure to help upbring him, you know.
Yeah, that's a priceless thing.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Not only is it enjoying the miracle of the moment now, but also applying it towards the people that we love, right? So especially with my son, and even with my ex-wife, you know, even though we're not together anymore, I just want the best for her. I want her to be happy, and the happier she is, the happier our son is. And then, even though we're not a perfect family, it's okay. Like half of the country.
Well, that's like. I feel like that's like the normal family nowadays anyway.
Yeah,
is like
half.
Yeah, but it takes a lot to like realize, hey, we don't work together, you know, and I'm pretty sure my ex-wife's like remarried and stuff.
Did you watch the State video with the Purple family? It's a really cheesy video that you have to watch in Hawaii when you're getting divorced, and it's about the Purple family, right? And so you have a family that wears all purple, right? And it's filmed in the 90s. Looks like straight out of Nickelodeon, but like they're wearing purple. And at one point, I think the dad, he's like, man, I'm going to start going more towards like burgundy, and eventually starts wearing red. And then the mom starts wearing blue. And you find out that one joins the Crips and one joins the Bloods. And they're like, oh my God, like we can't. No, I'm kidding. But like, one starts wearing red, one starts wearing blue. And you realize, oh, these are two different colors, but they're separating. And that's okay, even though it's awkward at first. Because they're constantly clashing. I like red. I like blue. And the purple kids are like, what the fuck is going on? There's like gangbanging drive-bys all the time. This is crazy. And then the grandpa purple goes, no, you have to understand that your mom and your dad, they're going through separate ways. Even though these colors don't mix together, right? You came from purple. They understand that. They came from purple, and that's all right. And so I was watching this shit because it's mandatory you have to watch it with your soon-to-be ex-wife. We're watching this.
I did not watch no video with my ex-wife.
It's actually pretty good. What? And I was watching it, choked up, like, oh, this is because they're purple. I get it. Like, they can split up, but they came from the same color.
She would have been like, is this over?
Yeah, no, exactly. My ex-wife was like, this is funny. This is really bad fucking production value. I'm like, all right, whatever.
She's like, this movie sucks.
It's metaphorical, okay? Fuck, that's us. Yeah, it's a good video. So anyone going through a divorce in the state of Hawaii, like, you're gonna have to watch the Purple Family video and like.
Yeah, Harold and I are the new mayors of the divorce club. No.
Yeah, right. Hey, yeah. Single, ready to make it. No, I'm not doing that. But yeah.
Getting divorced is tough. I was going through my tryout to be on the special reaction team while going through my divorce. I remember coming home with my patch all stoked. And my ex-wife was like with her friends, and nobody, like, they didn't give a fuck. So I was like, oh, nobody cares. Like, I'm gonna go be by myself now somewhere in my house. This is awkward.
That's the military checklist, right? You need the DUI, you need the DUI, divorce, and bang like a general officer's daughter or son or something like that. Check all three. I got just one, just a divorce. Didn't get the DUI,
yeah.
Didn't bang a general officer's daughter.
I might have both, but I don't have any DUIs. So if that tells you something,
you lived a life. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I got no DUIs. Well, I stopped drinking, and I think how's your sobriety been?
Horrible. So
horrible.
yeah, because I got kicked out easy. Officially.
I was like, 21. Didn't you have whiskey at my party?
Yeah. Absolutely did. I was trying to take. So here's the thing about health insurance: when you don't have it, you lose all of the facilities that give you those behavioral health preventive measures. So fortunately for me, I've just been running on my own resilience, and yes, I'm having moments of weakness where I have been drinking more so than I'd like. But with that said, my body knows itself, and so we both like to work out. At one point, I have enough angst to look at myself in the mirror and go, I fucking hate that. And so especially when my body feels it, I fucking hate this.
I think sometimes that's when vanity can be an advantage.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I for me, like, obviously I don't have, any type of feeling of like wanting to die or anything. So like my motivation is to live longer. And so I'm over here like taking 5 pills of spirulina every day and like
does that shit work? I saw that at Costco, the spirulina.
You gotta look at
it's seaweed, right? Hawaiian seaweed?
It's like, yeah, I think so. Yeah. You look it up. I'm like sponsored by one of the this company. Dude, the dude literally just gave me a whole bunch. And he's like, we're going to get you sponsored. I'm like, okay.
I need to get sponsored by milk thistle. That's what I need. Milk thistle. Yeah, it's the ultimate coat of armor around your liver. All right. Yeah, I went the opposite direction, drinking a little bit more. And I haven't smoked a cigarette since October last year. And then got into smoking cigars. So it's like
I love cigars.
I love cigars too. Yeah. Once a week kind of thing. But, just don't inhale.
You know what I would do? Yeah, I mean, especially when you have like a lot of multiple things, right? It's just like one thing at a time, And then I find that once you start implementing things into your routine, like, people love to do 30-day challenges, and I love doing different 30-day challenges. Once you start doing that, you do like a 30-day challenge here or whatever, then you start realizing like how much you love it. It was actually funny because we were talking about Kayla earlier. Kayla was sitting on my futon drinking a Truly, and I was doing my ab insanity. And she was like, there are 2 different types of girls right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. But I was like, it was part of my routine at that time, So I was like, I don't want to skip it. Like, I have to do it. And then we can go and eat and do whatever, and I won't feel guilty, right? Because my advice is to try that. Like, don't do everything all at once. Because you do everything all at once, you stop everything all at once, then it mentally it can be too much because you're like, oh, now I don't have my vape or my cigarettes, and I don't have my drink, I don't have this. It's like, just do one thing at a time.
That's very
yeah. Take away one thing at a time, and then just change your habits.
My current one habit thing right now is just editing. right? So I have 5 hours of stand-up comedy material over the past like half a year, and it's been collecting dust. And so I downloaded a software to do some editing, and literally as soon as I wake up, I look at a review tape because I go, my process for writing better jokes and getting better. I watch tape and I go, okay, this works, this doesn't work, and then I got into editing, which helps out the review process even more so. So that's where most of my day goes, and then when that's done, I'll go see my son at the end of the night, and then if I'm not with my son, then I'll just do comedy after that. So unfortunately for me, for the creative process, it goes, all right, while I'm editing, I'll have like a little bit of whiskey here, and not if I'm like completely blackout drunk because I won't shit or I won't write anything down. But if I'm a little bit of buzz, I'm like, all right, cool, biscuits, Limp Bizkit, I love those guys. What's up, Fred Durst? And I'll just write all these random ass shit on here, and then next thing you know, I got all this chicken scratch, and that's my creative process right there. So
the funny thing is that really highly creative people are more prone to like having addictive personalities
absolutely.
and stuff because we deal with so many different things. So it makes sense, like, and I think that we can actually handle a lot more. I mean, I remember in high school, like getting drunk and drinking until like 3 a.m. and then literally waking up at like 5 or 6 and going to school.
That's just being young.
And I was like,
just being young.
I was young, but I think I definitely could not do that now, like physically.
Yeah, the 2-day hangover thing is a real thing when you're 30. But going back to addictive personalities, like being comedians is like definitely a substance. Getting a reaction from an audience is like a substance. Most of the comedians that I work with either are drunks or like super stoners, and so the fact that we feed off of this energy off literally like a drug makes complete sense. I had somebody ask me like, what does comedy feel like? And I told her, it's better than drugs, better than booze, and I completely stand by that. So that's why I'm addicted to it. Me, my handle's literally handsome hair. I like the attention, all that. So
yeah,
but not to mention for me, like, it's not just getting the laugh, it's getting the response going, hey, like, I appreciate the work you're putting in. And for me, I'm fairly confident that I'm okay at what I do. And so I think it's fun to focus on your strengths and do that. And now that I'm out of the military, I'm like, all right, great. Let's try this out. Why not?
Yeah, you're definitely funny. You're definitely funny.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You definitely have. I would have never even been on stage unless, like, literally, if you watched my podcast, I talked to Nalo about, oh yeah, Harold keeps inviting me, I might do it.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's exactly what happened. Then I talked about it, I was about to do it, and then I did the Slack Key Lounge, or what was it?
Yeah, Slack Key Lounge.
Yeah, the Slack Key Lounge, and I was like, I can't believe like I actually pulled it off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not easy. Comedy's not easy for sure.
Well, either way, like the fact that you were there, one, that's the big step. Then two, like you're good at it, and then you just keep the reps up. It's not like, and we talked about this before, you can't just jump on stage and be like Matt Rife, who's very good at crowd work and just make things up on the fly. But the more the reps you get in, the better. And for me personally, like I fucking love comedy because like it's. I wanted to be a linguist when I first joined the Army, and they said, no, we can't send you to language school because you're not at the right rank. And I believe that language is the key to communication, but like connecting, right?
Yeah.
And if I can't speak the foreign language, if I can connect to you through humor, that is one of the best ways to like bring down an argument, to disarm something, or in the better way, to connect to someone,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not fortunately or unfortunately, either way you look at it, depending where you're from. For me, like, if I meet someone, I want to talk to them like I've known them for years. And the way I can do that is if I can find a way to make them laugh, and that eases it in. And next thing you know, I might see a random person on the street, and next thing you know, I could lead to something really cool. Like, for example, I met Chastity and Ronnie at your barbecue. Nicest fucking people ever. And what happened? We made each other laugh a little bit, and then she ended up trying stand up herself.
Yeah.
Right? BB, the MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Connor, the other dude, the other bro, all the other officer guys. Ashton's really cool. Who else? The other gal you had in your show, the Southern gal. I like to drink, just
Geneva.
Yeah,
she's gonna come on soon.
Yeah, there you go. Shit.
She has a reaction YouTube channel or whatever. She was like messaging me last night, and she's like, "I'm drunk right now," and I was like, "Okay, drink water." Like, I don't know what you're trying to say.
Well, yeah, it's just those small connections, and all of it's just through laughter.
She was like, "My boobs look good in this video." I'm like, "Dude, you're fucking hilarious." I'm dead.
Yeah. I'm working on a bit. Speaking of boobs, I'm working on a bit when we go to the gym, right? And you know how guys were absolutely terrified of interacting with women at the gym because they might put up with me. I'm not absolutely, but like like there's a trend on like gym memes where like, okay, if you interact with a girl, you're gonna end up on TikTok. This fucking perv's looking at me and shit.
No.
You haven't heard about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so in the world of guys,
in the world of guys.
Yeah, we're supposedly
All two
terrified
of
of
us.
interact. All two of us at the gym. We're worried about interacting with girls in the gym because like there's these viral videos of them calling people out. I'm like, oh, why are you looking at me? Whatever. So I'm working on a bit called the Medusa Challenge, where it's like, all right, like she's wearing the yoga pants, she's wearing the push-up friggin' sports bra, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Just don't look down, don't look down. Oh God! And you turn to stone, but something else gets hard. Either way,
That's funny.
we're polishing it. We're polishing.
I like
We're
it.
getting
Yeah,
there.
I think it has a place to be.
Yeah.
I think that'll be good.
Do you? I know that's a silly bit where people talk. I don't think anyone talks to each other in the gym, other than sign language.
No, you talked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think first of all, I made a face when you were like, "Oh, guys are too scared." If you're too scared to talk to a girl in the gym, then you're just too much of a fucking beta male in the first place.
The only thing I do, if it's guy or gal,
Just go fucking talk to her. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I feel like if you are good at observation, you can pick a time that is appropriate to talk at the gym. Now, obviously, in the middle of a set or a middle of a squat, you're not gonna go talk to the girl, obviously, because she's squatting.
You'd be
or
surprised.
whatever.
I had my experience with the teenagers with the broccoli haircuts. I was literally doing curls, and the dude comes up to me. He's like, I was like,
I get
"What's
pissed
up,
off.
man?"
That'll piss me off.
"How many sets you got?" I just started.
That'll piss me off.
Yeah.
Then when you put the weight down or you put it back on the rack, and there are in between like if you ever worked out, there's in between spaces where then you can ask me a question.
It's this. That's the point where you go in. But
Yeah.
for me, it's like I don't talk to anyone in the gym other than two things, where it's all sign language, which is like,
Yeah.
"Are you still doing this?"
Yeah, yeah,
And the
yeah.
other one's like, or,
Yeah.
"Okay, what was that? Okay, go."
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
guy or girl. And like I think most of us would go to the gym and go, we're there to work out, not to hook up. Now, at the
Yeah.
same time, you'll see like
Are you though?
I don't know. You'll see dudes
I'm
there
checking
like
out everybody in the gym. What's up? Who's
it's
there?
okay. So
Who's
here's
here?
the thing. It's okay. I read this on gym memes, and they're like, look, it's okay to look. That's just your natural instinct to look. But the second you're gawking, like,
Everybody says hi to me. in
"What's
the
up,
gym.
dude? What's up, dude?" Then
Yeah,
that's
don't, like,
that, yeah,
drool.
yeah,
Don't drool, you
But
know?
if you go,
But-
yes, that's your birth canal. Okay, very good. I'm gonna turn away.
The gym is fun. That's where you practice all your flirting, I feel.
That's my form of church. I will go there as much as I can possibly. Speaking of like, have you ever heard of Christian athleticism?
No.
It is the Christian foundation that inspired what would become the YMCA. And so
Oh yeah. I think I have. Yeah, yeah.
I think what was his name? Teddy Roosevelt, the freaking the bull moose, the president,
Yeah.
the Rough Rider. He was a strong believer in Christian athleticism in that he's like, all right, the Lord demands strong fucking arms. Bless me, Jesus, for all these gains I'm about to receive. And he just said, all right, the peak form of a true Christian is one who's united through God, and one
Well,
who
your body's
puts
a
their
temple,
body. Yeah, your
all
body's a
that,
temple,
yeah.
treated as such. And I think that's a really cool foundation to fall behind. And then eventually led to the YMCA, which is just a bunch of dudes going, hey, we just make.
Wait. So why do you? Why are you not really like? Why do you like
So
steer away from God? Sounds like a lot of the things you align with.
that's a very layered question. So the short answer is I don't steer away from God. I acknowledge that in the expansiveness of the universe, to assume that human consciousness is the highest form of intelligence would be irresponsible. Right. And so because of that, I understand, well, not I understand, I believe that religions are human constructs in that a human being took
Yeah.
something as a perception and then created something, right?
Right.
Does this necessarily mean that God does not exist? No, I don't believe that at all. So for me to believe that there's a higher presence is represented through what
Do you believe in God then?
I believe,
Because everyone agrees that religion is man-made.
yes. So
That's not really the point.
so the next
you know what I
question would be like, which God? You know what I mean? So
Do you believe in some sort of higher power?
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Again, the universe is fucking huge,
So
right?
you believe in something.
So
Okay.
I guess you could say you're spiritual. I think I like the concept of, and this is gonna get really nerdy because all boys and love fucking crusaders and shit like that. The Templar Knights, right? The Templar Knights, some of them were known as Gnostics, not agnostic, but Gnostics, in that you could be spiritual without a church and they could pray wherever because they're on the fucking crusades. They're like guiding pilgrims and all this shit over, not get killed by Saracens. And so you couldn't just go to any church and be like, God, I gotta pray. They go, okay, cool. It's in my heart. I'm here. And they would pray to not necessarily the true Catholic form of a God with a Trinity, but some of them would just be like, okay, cool, whatever presence is there, I got it. Please don't get me killed in combat, whatever. And so I kind of like that idea. I might get like butchered by a bunch of historians, but you're fucking wrong about the Crusades. But either way, that's what I read in like one article. And so for me, I don't want to assume anything is right because I don't know. That's the biggest thing. I don't know, which goes into the agnostic part, right? Is there a higher presence? I think it just like statistically, it just makes sense that there is, right? But each religious text, they come from different perspectives, right? And then with I hate groups. Two people are cool. A person is cool, right? A group of people, they're fucking crazy, right? Have you been to a book club? It's wild, right? Different interpretations, all these different kinds of perspectives, and you take something as dangerous as religion, and then you allow it to flourish, and then you have different perspectives, and worse, you try to shove it down someone's throat. That's where I have to walk away from that. And if I in my heart, mind, and soul, truly want to believe that there is a benevolent God that just like is just like, hey, I exist. I want you to be good. I would love that so much, right?
Have you been to church recently?
I went to mass a couple weeks ago.
Oh, like a Catholic?
Yeah.
Catholic's a little more traditional.
Yeah, and
I definitely like some of the Christian churches where like they're more like doing more music, and you don't feel like there's things being shoved down. You know what I mean?
I like both ways. That with the structure, because that's why I like the military. Being a part of the Catholic Church would basically wire my brain into going to the military. All right, these are the rules. You literally have moves that you do, and you have this doctrine. You have the Nicene Creed.
Catholicism's a little much.
And for me, it instilled that baseline, right? And so I appreciate, New Hope, other Christian Protestants and all that. And like the Protestant idea was great. One dude goes like, look, we don't need to have a physical location for church. We can do this anywhere. We don't need a hierarchy of like a pope telling us what to do. That's a cool idea. Run with it. Go for it. Do whatever religion you want. But for me, I understand that humans are prone to error, right?
Right.
And given the age of, we're just talking about Christianity in general, 2,000 years, right? And I used to use this argument when I used to be part of a Christian group. I said part of it's faith. You got to have faith. And what got me out of it was like, all right, 2,000 years, you have a text that was made. You had the Nicene Council that decided this is what's going to go into the Bible. What was it, like 500 years later, something like that, in Constantinople. And from there, you have those texts that were translated into several different languages from, Aramaic? And then you had a Greek version. You had all these other versions. If you ever played telephone with the three of us in this room right now, I'd be like, hey, the code is blue pancakes. We went around in a circle and going, blue pancakes, blue pancakes. Eventually you come back like strawberry waffles. Like, what? So you take that with 2,000 years or 1,500 years, however long it took to write or to push out the Bible to the modern day, and you go, all right, this is law? And you go, which one? How many are other religions? You know what I mean?
So you're trying to say that the Bible could be like one big giant game of telephone?
Well, I wouldn't say it is, because you have multiple books. You have multiple books, multiple authors. And the cool thing about, if we go into the faith part, especially with the New Testament, right? Mark, John, Luke, and who's the other one? Mark, John, Luke, and either way, I failed Catholic school. They have similar stories, but they have parts that contradict each other. Time of day, Jesus said this and that. But the whole point is that the main message is that Jesus said, let go. I got this. Old Testament, we're good. This is the new way. I'm going to die for your sins. I'm going to clear the credit card debt, and we're good.
The one thing that's interesting is that most historians, even ones that are not Christian, are unanimous in that fact that Jesus existed. Yeah. And I find that interesting.
I love that. If Jesus came back tomorrow, I'd be like, fuck, I would kneel. I'd be like, hey, sir, I failed you. I'm sorry for not 100% believing. But the ideas that Jesus taught, I'm like, dude, how could you argue with that? The golden rule, be fucking cool. Does that hurt? Cool. Why does that hurt?
That's a commandment.
Don't
right there.
do
That's
that.
The commandment of Handsome Harold.
Yeah.
Be fucking cool.
And so, and for me, and that's why I appreciate my ex-wife. She's Buddhist. They believe in reincarnation. They believe in karma. Right. I think that's a wonderful thing to pitch. Islam. Right. Those guys, even though they're a little bit newer than Christianity, they have several tenets to say the same thing. Be good to each other. Now, granted, there's different facets of Islam that people don't agree with. Right. In the same sense that people don't agree with Christianity at all times. Right. But I think overall, most people who are religious believe in the same thing. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself, and then the other part will obviously have faith, right? Yeah. And for me, I don't necessarily want to choose one to tell me what to do, right? Because I've gone through different parts of my life, and it's gotten me to here. I acknowledge that there's way bigger things aside from myself that have got me to this point. Whether I can understand it or not, I don't know. This is why I love aliens, right?
Love them.
Segues. Best thing is like the best way I try to interpret without making myself go insane is that if you see a cockroach crawl by and you go, all right, explain American Idol to that cockroach. It's impossible. It's impossible. So it's for me just to humble myself to go like, all right, it would be impossible if God exists, all right, or in this case for you, because God exists, it would be irresponsible to assume I know exactly what he's saying to me. Be absolutely impossible. And in fact, in the Old Testament, you know how they talk about the angels and all that. If you look at the Old Testament, when they introduce angels, it's not a bunch of wings and a little chubby baby that goes, yay, be not afraid. When they describe angels in the Old Testament, they have a pantheon of wings, floating burning eyeballs within an encompassing circle of rings. And so when they say be not afraid, it's not being like, be not afraid. It's literally a fucking H.P. Lovecraftian monster. Be not afraid! You're like, oh, God!
Yeah.
And that's why you have, like, you know, the character of the voice of God, not the character, but the entity of the voice of God that has to speak for God. Because if you listen to God's actual voice, your head would explode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we could talk about, you know, my connection with aliens to, like, fucking religion all day. But
there's also somebody who mentioned that if you replace the word heaven with outer space, it matches like every single time in the Bible.
Which I could go with. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna do my daily reading tomorrow and check it out.
Now, if you want to go down the complete rabbit hole, ancient alien stuff, we can do that. I don't know if we have enough time for that, but like, man,
we are out of time.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
Next time.
Now we gotta have Harold on again.
In a year. Yeah.
But do you want to plug any more of your comedy stuff coming up?
Yes. Hi, my name is Handsome Harold, aspiring to be Honolulu's best, funniest comedian eventually one day.
So far, he's just the funniest in Mililani.
I'm just the funniest in Mililani, all right? The only one comedian from Mililani. I have a show September 11th, this Wednesday at Blue Note, all right? And then I believe on the 17th at the Slack Key Lounge with Oil in the Alley. So thank you, Lucy, for having me on the Paradise Podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
See you guys in a year.
Thank you guys so much for watching Lucy's Paradise Podcast. Aloha.